Boris Johnson will refuse to budge on allowing Nicola Sturgeon another Scottish independence referendum under any circumstances, it has been claimed. Scotland voted to remain part of the UK back in 2014, and since then the First Minister has been pushing for another independence vote. Ms Sturgeon hopes to have another referendum after the coronavirus pandemic eases. However, since the outbreak of the deadly pandemic, support for independence has increased and the SNP are set to use May's Holyrood elections to set out a mandate for a new referendum. But fears have emerged in Westminster over the growing support for independence north of the border. A cabinet minister said, "Michael Gove is petrified by the risk to the Union and Boris is highly irritated by it." Another senior ally argued if Scotland is granted independence, Mr Johnson would have to resign as Prime Minister. They said, if he presides over the end of the Union, he would have to resign. You can't go on if you become the last Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Another cabinet minister claimed Mr Johnson would be boiled alive by backbenchers if he remained Prime Minister. They also told the Sunday Times, if Boris didn't go in those circumstances, he would be boiled alive by the backbenchers. The people who most wanted to leave the EU are the same people who are most keen to save the Union. They would force him out. In order for a second referendum to happen, the government in London has to give its approval. But Mr Johnson's aides say the Prime Minister will not budge, under any circumstances. One said, "There will absolutely not be another referendum. It has been 6 years since the last one. That's certainly not a lifetime ago." Despite a majority of 80 in the House of Commons, senior civil servants believe it might be politically unsustainable to block another independence vote if Ms Sturgeon wins a majority next year. An advisor said, "I've been in meetings where the working assumption is that we would have to give them a referendum." In June, results on a panel-based poll revealed support for independence was up by 2 points in a fortnight. The research found Scots would support independence by 54% to 46% in a new referendum. But Ms Sturgeon was warned of the consequences if she pushed for another referendum.